What up, geeks? It's Rob from the Geek Abides, and I'm sitting here with Bair Dane, and we are talking
Ghostbusters! There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
Do you experience feelings of dread in your basement or attic?
Have you or any of your family ever seen a spook, specter, or ghost?
If the answer is yes, then don't wait another minute. Pick up your phone and call the professionals. Go Ghostbusters!
We're ready to believe you!
Ghostbusters 1984 is definitely on my top 10 list of all-time greatest movies. I saw this movie in 1984. I was 7 years old. My mom took me to the theater. I had no idea what I was seeing. Dude, I sat down and my second grade mind was blown. Sure. I mean, from the moment that first ghost hit, dude, I was sold. Like, this movie was the best movie I'd ever seen at that moment.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters, the 1984 version, directed by Ivan Reitman, is obviously one of the greatest films of all time. It's a 1980s classic. You can't talk 1980s films and not talk this movie. And see, I'm a little younger than you, so I saw it in 1989 the first time when I was about 5. I was born in 84 when this movie came out.
Right around the time Ghostbusters 2 came out.
Exactly. So my dad was a big movie guy. You know, he always had a lot of VHS Betamax sitting around. And I remember him putting in this movie, Ghostbusters, the first time for me when I was about 5. And watching that first library scene, get her, Ray! And then all of a sudden she comes at him, and I remember I just shit in my pants as a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and that first ghost is scary, man.
Get her!
You look at some of the comparisons in the new trailer that we've seen in Ghostbusters 2016, and they're really CGI-ish. I mean, you take this movie, still put it on DVD or, you know, Blu-ray, and it still looks great.
One of the greatest things, like you said, about this movie is the cast. You got Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and they were like at the peak of their stardom then.
Absolutely.
They had been working together for so many years. They had such a wonderful chemistry, and a lot of this movie was made on set by ad-libbing, which is fantastic. If you watch it through, most of the classic lines that you hear are ad-libbed on set.
They're Hollywood gold and they're Hollywood royalty. They should be treated as such.
I don't disagree.
And to kind of piggyback that, you know, we have other characters too. We have other actors. We got Sigourney Weaver, okay, who's basically the sci-fi queen, let's be honest. Aliens, Aliens 3, Aliens Resurrection, Galaxy Quest. I mean, the list keeps going on and
Avatar.
on. Avatar. I mean, geez, I forgot about Avatar. Yeah. You know, you got Rick Moranis, who basically disappeared after this, but for good reason. I mean, he went and took care of his family, and good on him. There's no telling how great Rick Moranis truly could have been as an
Little
actor.
trivia, that character was originally meant for John Candy. And John Candy left the role over a dispute with the director on where he wanted to take the character.
Sure.
He wanted the character to be German and have a bunch of, like, Dobermans.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
The director felt like, well, we've already got these terror dogs, and, you know, add more dogs to it. It's kind of confusing. So, Bair, what's your favorite scene?
So my favorite scene in this entire movie is the first scene when they all go in together, and it's a simple scene. There's nothing too big going on. Obviously, there's Slimer in the grand room, right, where they're destroying the whole place.
Oh, nice shooting, Tex.
The whole Sedgwick Hotel scene is absolutely fantastic when they're learning to use their proton packs for the first time.
And they're just wrecking tables.
Dude, they've never tested this stuff at all, and they're like,
Switch me on.
Egon switches on Ray.
They all kind of move
and then
away.
Like, back away. I was like, yes. And then when they're going down that hallway, and they light up the hallway.
The cart.
Yeah, and the maid's all like,
what the hell are you doing?
it's so funny. I'm surprised she didn't sue their fucking ass off.
Oh, no kidding.
That would be great for a sequel. Like, she's park owner now.
Yeah, she owns the Sedgwick Hotel because she gets the old maid. That'd be hilarious. My favorite scene, though, is when they come out.
We came, we saw,
We kicked its ass.
Dude, that's such a great scene, man. Oh my god, that's such a great scene. Anybody seen a ghost?
and then Egon's sitting there giving him the prices throughout the whole thing.
Right.
And we got a special going on today. You know, it's that whole salesman, just that you could tell that whole scene was just people going at
Yes.
it, letting them do what they want to do.
That's what's so great about this is that this movie is made for the blue collar average Joe.
Absolutely.
Like these are just average guys that see an opportunity and they start a business.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to make money and they have no problems. If you don't want to pay the bill, we're just going to dump this ghost right back over here. That's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, no problem.
Man, let's talk about the Ecto-1.
Absolutely.
What a glorious, beautiful car.
It's one of the top 5 film cars of all time. I mean, it's one of the most recognizable. Not only that, but the sound, the siren. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that siren.
If I were to rate it, it's probably my number 1 favorite movie car of all time.
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
I like it better than the DeLorean.
See, because that's my pick. My
Yeah?
pick's the DeLorean. The number 1 film car of all time for me is the DeLorean. But the Ecto-1 is definitely...
It's a
2,
toss-up,
3.
man.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up.
It's nerdgasm at that point.
What I like about this movie is that it takes itself pretty seriously.
It does.
It really does. Yeah.
They kind of took this and went, this is serious. This is also a comedy. We're going to make our comedic humor. We're going to make our one-liners. Everybody's going to get their screen time, and they're going to move on and still tell a really solid story from front to finish.
But it feels very realistic because these guys, like I said, they take it seriously, but they're just sarcastic about it. It's like I could see being in that type of situation. You're seeing this ginormous marshmallow man walking down the street.
What are you going to say?
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it's so true to life.
And there's that very New Yorker personality. I mean, when you got star power like Murray and Aykroyd, who just came off Blues Brothers, right? The only other person I would have loved to have seen in this is Belushi.
In honor of Belushi, they actually modeled Slimer on him.
Sure,
Did you know
I believe
that?
it. No, I did not know that, but I could believe it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Animal House when Belushi's stuffing his face,
Oh, yeah.
and then look at Slimer when he's stuffing his face, it's kind of an homage because originally Peter Venkman was going to be played by John Belushi,
Oh, okay.
and then he passed away.
Sure.
And so Aykroyd kind of, as a tribute to his fallen brother,
Yeah.
put him in the movie.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Ghostbusters 2016 reboot.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the reboot?
Yeah, the reboot, again, why do we have to tell the same story? Why can't we have a continuation of this and utilize the SNL characters of today? I'm fine with the 4 females. That's totally cool with me. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But I do have an issue with the reboot. Let's progress the storyline. While I've heard rumors that certain characters are going to make a little cameo here and there, it doesn't really excite me all that much because seeing the first Ghostbusters, you can never, ever, ever denounce the original gangster. And unfortunately, that's what it is. It's the original Ghostbusters. It's the 84 version. You're never going to get funnier than Aykroyd, Murray, and Ramis on screen all at the same time.
Dude, Ghostbusters is a really important film to me. Like, it is a seminal film that I fell in love with as a young child and grew up watching over and over and over.
Sure.
I hold Ghostbusters up with Star Wars. I mean, it's just a classic to me.
It's one of those films that you can put on in the middle of the day and clean your house and know every line.
The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the sky.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
You even know the key changes because of the music. You know what's happening.
It's comfort food.
It is.
You know, you throw it on a dark, stormy night when maybe you're not feeling so good, and you're instantly happy.
Yep.
So I was a bit let down to find out that the reboot wasn't going to be a direct sequel, that it was going to basically restart everything, wash away the continuity, and start over by telling somewhat of the same story. And I'm just like, why? You have most of the surviving cast still around.
Sure.
They're all making cameos anyway. Why do you have to crap on the continuity and wash away 30 years of fan memories?
Because they're trying to create new fan memories at this point. But again, it doesn't really do the franchise any justice or the older fans any justice.
But look at what Star Wars Episode 7 did.
Yeah,
that
great.
in a sense was a reboot.
Sure.
But they didn't shit on the previous history.
No.
And they took some of those legacy characters, worked them into the story, and it was an awesome pass the torch movie.
And that's probably the best example of bringing past characters from 30 years ago into today's age before they die off.
Right.
That's probably the best example of that in today's cinema and film industry. So, by all means, I think they could have done a better job with that.
Dude, I have cut together a Ghostbusters fan trailer that treats the reboot as if it was a new sequel. Go check it out on the geekabides.com or our YouTube channel and let us know what you think. I myself, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go in with an open mind. I want to like this movie.
I don't want to like it. I want to hate it. I want to go into the movie theater on that Friday night and absolutely shit all over it. But, however, with that being said, I'm going to go in because it is a Ghostbusters movie again. Yeah. You know, Ghostbusters 2, let's face it, that wasn't that great either. But
still a watchable movie.
Still a watchable flick, but not something I would put in my top 10. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to see it. I'm going to pay the $15 to go check it out. And then after that, we'll have a conversation about it.
I'm going to give an honest opinion, but I'm going to try to go in with an open mind. I've had enough time to kind of deal with the feelings of it not being a sequel.
Sure.
And I'm ready. It's not my Ghostbusters. I'm probably not going to like it as much as the original.
Sure.
But I'm going to try to weigh it on as its own film.
I think that's probably the fairest way to go about doing it at this point. Because, I mean, let's talk about the hype. Right, the hype's been ridiculous. The reviews have been terrible. Everybody's dumping on it.
I haven't seen a single thing from it that I'm like, yeah, that looks cool.
No,
like the equipment designs are not iconic at all.
No.
The new Ecto 1 looks like somebody made it in their garage as like a cosplay vehicle.
Right. It looks like there's cardboard strapped to the side of it.
And all the comedy in the trailers looks like lowbrow Adam Sandler style comedy.
That stuff went everywhere, by the way, in every crack. Very hard to wash off.
Just not for me.
No.
But like I said, I'm going to go in with an open mind, and maybe it will change my mind.
See what happens.
All right, guys, so that's it for us. Bear, thank you for joining me today, brother.
It's a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to sit down with you. Please stop by the YouTube channel and the geekabites.com. Like, share, subscribe. Check us out. We'll be back next week with our Ghostbusters review. And until then, the Geek Abides.
Peace.